The fragrant flower blooms with dignity. A romance manga that's been recently adapted into an anime and somehow managed to capture the internet's attention without leaning on fan service. Personally, I've been following this series since 2022 when it wasn't that popular and it's still in its earlier days, so I'm glad it's finally getting the attention it deserves. At the center of the series is Kaoruko Waguri, petite, kind, academically brilliant, and the exact definition of comfort character. But here's the paradox. Anime fans have a track record of sexualizing everything. If a character exists, there's probably a doujin of them somewhere. Yet when it comes to Kaoruko, the community seems to have silently agreed. Try going to a comment section of a post where she is involved, they all say the same thing. You can't Goon to Kaoruko Waguri. Hi, I'm Komiosis. I make video essay about the psychology behind weird cultural phenomena in the internet, games, and now anime. And today we are diving into why we can't Goon to Kaoruko Waguri. Kaoruko isn't built like the usual poster girl for anime fandom lust. She's small, barely 148 centimeters, quiet, and defined not by sex appeal, but by empathy. Her entire character arc revolves around kindness. She's the one who listens, who helps, and bridges divides. And this framing matters. Right from the start, she's positioned not as an object of desire, but as an embodiment of purity and comfort, which already makes sexualizing her feel off. She's a scholarship student at Kikyo Academy, which already frames her as someone defined by diligence and effort. Unlike many of her peers, she's not wealthy, not flashy, not elevated by privilege. She's elevated by kindness, by intelligence, by the sheer ability to make people around her feel seen. This is what makes her central to the fragrant flower blooms with dignity. She's the narrative bridge, the person who softens the rivalry between schools, the one who brings people into orbit not through force but through warmth. She is, in short, the series' moral center. In order to understand why we can't goon to Kaoruko, we have to understand what gooning is in the first place. In internet slang, gooning refers to the state of prolonged trance-like sexual arousal. Imagine someone staring at porn for so long that they stop being a normal human being and basically become a horny zombie. That's gooning. It's not just being turned on, it's being locked into a kind of degenerate meditation session where lust takes over higher brain functions. Scholars might call this a form of absorptive state, where attention narrows so tightly on a stimulus that the rest of the world falls away. Psychologists have studied similar states in meditation, hypnosis, even video game immersion. But in the case of gooning, the focus object is raw sexual imagery. Normally, characters who are goonable have traits that make fixation easy. Exaggerate sexual design, seductive archetypes, which our main heroine isn't. When people think about Kaoruko, the first thing that comes to mind aside from her cuteness is her kindness. Psychologists have a name for this: the halo effect. When one trait stands out strongly enough, it spills over into every other judgment. Kaoruko's warmth dominates so much that our brains file her under pure and leave her there. And once she is in that file, things change. Instead of evoking lust, she evokes something closer to what psychologist Jonathan Haidt in 2000 calls a moral elevation. That rush of warmth and admiration we feel when we witness kindness. It's uplifting, inspiring, even tear-jerking. But it's also the exact opposite of sexual arousal. You don't want to goon, you want to cherish. This blends into how fans form what Horton and Wall in 1956 described as parasocial relationships, one-sided bonds with media figures. But with Kaoruko, that bond doesn't become romantic or sexual. It becomes protective. People don't fantasize about possessing her, they fantasize about keeping her safe. There's even an evolutionary psychology parallel here. Over a century ago, Westermarck in 1921 argued that humans develop sexual aversion toward those they grow up alongside because our brains tag them as family. Kaoruko's small stature and innocent aura triggers something similar. Our instincts push us to treat her like a younger sister, not a lover, which makes sexual attraction feel less like desire and more like incestuous taboo. Hello? See, I told you this part would be funny if you subscribe from one of my long-form videos. If you're not subscribed, then you're unlucky. If you already know what's going to happen, skip this part. And if you're not subscribed, think fast, chuckle nuts! If you subscribe to my channel, thank you so much. We are getting closer to my goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers, which ultimately gets me closer to getting monetized. So if you want to help a small content creator out and continue enjoying these types of videos, please subscribe. That's it. Enjoy the rest of the video. Characters in fiction embody archetypes, universal patterns like the hero, the lover, or the trickster. Kaoruko is firmly planted in the caregiver or maiden archetype. She nurtures, she uplifts, she symbolizes innocence. Trying to force her into the lover archetype creates a kind of mental short circuit. Our brains resist it. It's like trying to cast a nun in the role of a stripper. It feels fundamentally wrong. That resistance is why even if someone did draw Kaoruko in an erotic context, it wouldn't gain traction. It clashes with the archetype too strongly to stick. Of course, we cannot discuss this topic without mentioning what psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud first called Madonna-whore dichotomy. In simple terms, people often split women into two categories: the pure nurturing Madonna who deserves respect, and the sexualized whore who becomes an object of desire. Kaoruko is so strongly coded as Madonna that trying to force her into the whore role creates psychological resistance. She's positioned as someone to protect and admire, not someone to goon over. Of course, psychology isn't just an individual, it's also social. Even if one fan privately thought, okay, but what if? They'd hesitate to say it out loud. Why? Because nobody else is saying it. Psychologists call this pluralistic ignorance. When people assume their private thoughts are abnormal because nobody else is expressing them, and once silence sets in, it becomes a fandom norm. Kaoruko becomes protected. Her wholesomeness gets reinforced again and again through memes and fan posts. Sociologist Emil Durkheim might call this sacralization, when a community collectively treats something as sacred. Meanwhile, we've all seen the opposite happen with characters like Marin Kitagawa, where one NSFW post snowballs into thousands because it fits the fandom's vibe. Communication scholar Leimer Schiffman in 2014 explains how memes amplify cultural norms. When the first joke catches on, repetition cements it. With Kaoruko, the amplification went in the opposite direction. Her purity, not her sexuality, became the meme. To conclude this topic, let's run it back. Her kindness locks her into the halo effect, where purity overshadows every other perception. Her compassion inspires moral elevation, that uplifting feeling that kills lust on the spot. Her presence triggers parasocial protection instincts. Fans don't want to possess her, they want to shield her. Her archetype clashes with eroticization. She's a maiden, not a seductress. And finally, the fandom itself enforces her untouchability, imbuing her purity through silence and repetition. The result is a character who isn't just not sexualized, she's actively resistant to sexualization. Kaoruko Waguri is anti-goonable. And that's exactly why she matters. In a media ecosystem where nearly every female character gets reduced to thirst content, Kaoruko's strength lies in how she refuses it. Her dignity, her warmth, her purity. They don't just discourage eroticization, they make it feel wrong. So the answer to the question, why can't we goon to Kaoruko Waguri, is simple. It's because you just can't. If you like this video, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. I want to focus mainly on discussing gaming and internet cultural phenomena and explain them using research, because I firmly believe whatever is being discussed, we should be academic about it in order to be sound, wise, and rational. If there's a specific topic you want me to talk about, join the Discord, link in the description. Also, if you join the Discord, you'll be able to have access to the polls for the upcoming videos, so join now to dictate where my channel goes. You can also help me get a GPU, the donation links are below. And of course, don't forget to follow my socials, which is also linked in the description. And once again, subscribe if you like eggs. See you!